Oh, we are live, apparently. Morning, Rod.
Good evening. I'm surprised your body clock even knows what time it is.
This is a new one for me, streaming at, 9 a.m., especially after going to bed at, I won't tell you what time I was still awake. Yeah. Whose silly idea was this?
Yours?
How are you, mate?
I'm fine, yeah. I'm still suffering with lack of sales, really. It picked up a little bit and then just nosedived again, so I really don't know what's going on. So, yeah, I don't think anyone does.
No, well, thankfully ours recovered after we moaned about it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's a pattern there. If we moan about stuff, it sorts itself out.
If that were the way, I'd have been a millionaire by now, because I could moan for moan for England.
There's a flaw in my plan, is there?
Significant flaw.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we are live. I can see there's a bunch of people. Let's say a few hellos before we put the world to rights. We've got DMH Products. Welcome. Bob is in. Oh, no, he's not. Have to miss this one at work. Catch later. All right. You can watch it work. Just put it on your phone and hide it under your desk somewhere. Pretend you're working. Car Boot Mania. Oh, hello, Edward. Now, we're due to be chatting with Edward tomorrow. A more
Which channel is that on?
Sorry?
Which channel is that on, yours or Edward's?
It's on here. We were on Edward's last time. We're
Right.
alternating, so yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Cookie and the Haydens are in. One or the other. Maybe just Cookie. You never know.
I'm just the dog. Yeah.
Exactly. Listening but busy packing up. Steve. I know. What I'm barely awake. Yeah.
Proper grumpy old man.
Yeah. Did you see Steve on Carla's last night? Well, no, you were probably asleep at that point.
I'd be in bed probably then.
Yeah. He was the masked reseller. There's a program over here where singers go on the telly with a mask on and you're supposed to guess who they are.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Carla kind of did a version of that with resellers. He wasn't singing that I was aware of.
Yeah.
And you had to guess who it was.
I thought, did he put his WWE stuff on? Because he's big into wrestling, isn't he? I imagine he came on with his gold dust outfit and mask on and everything.
That would have been good. I don't think so. I believe I missed the beginning. I missed the whole start when he was masked. But I believe he was just sat under a blanket or something. I'll have to go back and watch the beginning. ETYK. So a few more hellos and then we'll crack on. Kura. And Julie's in. I've got Drew, Pink Harpy, Chris, Antoinette, Lee, Thrifty Aussie. Oh, Derek's in. We'll be listening whilst refitting my new tidy office. Yeah, I saw a picture of Derek's office, all new and tidy.
Seems to be the rage at the moment, doesn't it? Reorganisation of your office. I know Drew's doing it over here.
Right.
And I've seen quite a few people saying they're trying to get this minimalistic moving around down to a fine-tuned. Like Mel's got her office stroke listing, packaging, storing, etc. Pretty spot on for what she does. I think there's a few people trying to emulate what she does.
Well, Mel did a video, didn't she? I've not actually watched that one yet. So perhaps that's inspired people to get a shift on.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, I tidied mine the other week and it was looking as good as it ever has done. But since I've tackled all that Lego and it's still spread everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've got more work to do.
Oh, My shed's just a bomb site. It's. I thought getting the shipping container and putting stuff in would be well, it is good. I'm not saying it's not good, but I still seem to work in chaos within the shed. So, and it has been extremely hot recently, so I've not been very productive.
I think some of us are predisposed to being untidy. I can't. I'm just not naturally tidy. I'm so scatterbrained. I just flip from one thing to another. So I'm just looking around me here. I've got a pile of media there that was halfway through being sorted, a pile of Lego manuals that I'm not sure what I'm doing with, a load of FBA stuff I haven't finished doing.
Yeah.
Some CDs I'm halfway through cleaning. All this Lego is still spread everywhere. It's like, that's like 5 jobs on the go.
Yeah, it's. Do you find you start one job and get bored with it, and then have to refresh yourself with something else? I do.
I guess that's part of it. Yeah, I just flip from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pink Harpy's in, cleaning out my workspace again. See, it's catching. We've got 2 Aussie thrifters. Good morning. Evening for you. Gimbal. Thrifty Aussie. All the Aussies are in. See, it's a good time for Down Under at the minute. Oh, Laney's in. I was chatting with Laney last night on her channel, actually, briefly. Right. Let me get to the end of the chat. Can't say hello to everybody. Let me get down the end. Oh, I think I just saw George. Yes.
Yeah, he was mentioning about a return on a pair of shoes or something. I was reading.
Right there, yeah. Sales are average, but returns are painful. 3 returns for shoes that don't fit. Well, that leads us on to what's going on in my world. I've had it back. I'm not going to go into all the detail because I'm halfway through dealing with it and I'm making a video as I go. But we had for those of you that are not aware, I sold a headlight, one of the car parts, brand new £300 headlight. That's what it sold for. Got it back.
Oh dear.
In the box I sent it in.
Was it packaged as equally well as you sent it out when you got it back? Did he take care with it?
Yeah, it had all of the padding in that I put in. It was fine. And the box has no damage on it at all.
Yeah.
Right, bear that in mind. The box is as I sent it. But when you get the light out, now remember this has been sent back as faulty. There's a good reason why it's faulty. We'll discover that in a second. Let me just take that comment off. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, yes, Aaron. You'd forgotten about it. I can't forget about it. I'm in the middle of jumping through heaps to appease eBay. So anyway, got the thing back, and the first thing I wanted to do was find out, is this the headlight I sent out? Well, it's absolutely, there's no stone chips on it. You can see, well, you can barely see, but there are drips of water inside.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to see that from there. And then it's not unique serial numbered, but it's got, where are they? Like little stickers and things. And I've looked at all my pictures and they're exactly the same and slightly offline in certain places. And it's obviously the one I sent out.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit dusty and a little bit, you can tell it's been fitted on a car, as he said. But here's the thing. It's got a socking grate crack in it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show, but the crack runs all the way around here, all the way back around there, and this whole mount moves now. Something has hit that with great force and cracked this housing. And this is seriously heavy-duty stuff. So either somebody has dropped this whole unit on that bracket and forced it through and cracked this housing. I mean, this is sort of 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick plastic, I mean, that's some serious force. Or when it's been fitted, they've, done
Rammed it
something
in.
serious to it. Either way, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you, actually. But you can see right through here.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
The inside. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see, really. It's too dark. But so there's no way this guy, as far as I'm concerned, or I'm going to try not to let him have his money back, because that's been damaged after he's got it. There's no way. I mean, the pictures on the original listing show there's no massive socking grates crack there. But because he opened a return and it was through Crack Post, so the return automatically refunded him for us.
Ooh.
Right? And so now we're basically going through an appeal process.
Yeah.
And the hoops they're making us jump through are, I won't swear, ridiculous. It's a farce, but I'm making a video tracking all of the things they're making me do to reverse this decision.
I had a similar. It was. I had a lot of hassle with last year, Octoberish time, with that power inverter I bought on behalf of someone, and that all just, it was eBay washed the hands of it, and then said it was a PayPal matter. So there was no way I could get in touch with the seller through eBay, because they actually kicked him off eBay as well. Apparently he must have been doing this quite regular, and it was drop shipping basically, and they booted him off, and I had no way of getting in touch with him through eBay, and the only thing I could do through PayPal was wait for their decision, and their decision was that the item had been shown as being delivered. Case closed. You got your part. The guy got to keep his money. I mean, I think that was the very last day of January. PayPal did say it would be a roughly about 3-month decision. So I don't know. There wasn't much conversation between myself and PayPal, because every time you logged on to try and sort something out, you got this generic automated response, and there was no physical interaction. It was all just computer driven. That was frustrating.
So I remember you
Yeah.
talking about that. What was the issue there then? I can't remember. I know you were ordering something on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
And was it the wrong item turned up or something? I can't remember.
They sent initially, the item should have been with me. I can't remember the exact date, but say the item should have been with me at the beginning of the month. Towards the end of the month, I'd still not seen it, and every time I contacted the seller, I got no answer. And the reason he could give me no answer was because he was drop shipping it from some guy in China, so it was coming direct from the manufacturer or a wholesaler to me. So he had no control or input or knowledge of the actual tracking number. So he said. So I opened a case up to say, hey, look, I paid $1,000 for this and it's not arrived. And in that interim period of the case kind of being resolved, eBay booted him off eBay.
Right, I see.
And then he took the PayPal approach to sort it out. And but the one that arrived, say it should have been a 10,000 kilowatt or whatever it was, they actually sent a 15,000. So it was the wrong one anyway. But all the paperwork was for a 10,000. So it was a complete sham from start to finish. I was just glad it's over with, and touch wood it's over. But I'm just so glad it's over with. But that was so frustrating. It was frustrating as well because it wasn't my money. It was a friend of Trisha's. And I said years ago, sorry.
You got the money back then?
No. The seller claimed through PayPal he got his money, and Trisha's friend's husband had to basically take the power inverter because all the paperwork that was submitted to PayPal tallied up. It's been delivered, it's been signed for, and the paperwork says it's 10,000 watt. So I just said, well, I said to this friend of Trisha's, I am not going to try and communicate with some Chinese warehouse because it would have had to go back to the original point of origin.
But it's a better unit anyway if it's more powerful, no? Or is it just not what they...
This is the problem. Yet when he first saw it, I thought, wow, it's 15,000 watt. That's fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
But it was too powerful for the demand of his batteries at home. So it kept tripping out. So it was just a nightmare from start to finish. And I did say I would never buy anything for anyone online since the incident happened in the UK many years ago. But they didn't have an eBay account, and it's a friend of Trisha's, so we did it, as an act of friendship kind of thing. And it weren't his fault. It weren't, it was just a whole series of. It was like that Lemony Snicket, a series of unfortunate events or whatever. It was just shocking.
Yeah. Well, this ongoing one, I'll highlight some of the comments in a minute. People were talking about it. It just feels with eBay, with this case certainly, there's just a complete lack of common sense going on. And you'll see in the video, I don't want to give away a lot of it.
No.
It's going to be an interesting video. And yeah.
Just one?
Well, there'll be one for sure. I don't know how long this is going to drag on, but the police are involved.
Right.
Because eBay has made that happen. On their behest, the police are involved. I'll go that far. Which is ridiculous because it's not a police matter. See, I'm not going to get into it.
But no, don't save it for the video.
There's forms and official things being signed and all weirdness going on. But anyway, so Pleasant Valley Picker. So the buyer or mechanic damaged it. The fitter is what seems to have gone on. The fitter's either somebody says here that they've forced it.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
When fitting it. Andrea says, not my wife, another Andrea. The mechanic would have seen that crack before fitting, so it must have happened while fitting it. Yeah, almost certainly. Because there's no way it left here with a stocking grate cracking it, and it proves that in the pictures anyway.
Yeah.
And somebody else said that the mechanic would have seen that. If it happened before fitting, apparently he went to an official auto electrician.
Yeah.
There's no way they'd have said, I'm putting that on the car. It's got a great big crack in it. It's so obvious. So yeah. And it should be cut and dried. This is the annoying thing about what I'm having to go through to try and prove my end and get this sorted is they haven't even asked to see the pictures or what the problem is really. I've tried to explain it in emails and then they're making me do all this.
When I won't go on it about it because obviously you're saving it for your video. But when you've spoke to eBay about it, have you actually? This isn't sounding. I don't even know the word, but was the person you spoke to were they good communicator? Was their English good, or did you get some?
I recorded the phone call, the first one. I've had more than one now. I recorded the first one, and you can be the judge of that.
Yeah,
I struggled. The second person I spoke to in the UK, if you get through to a call center, one is I don't know in India or the Far East somewhere. The alternative one is in Ireland, and the second time I got through to the Irish one, and then because there isn't a language barrier, you can actually converse about it and put your point of view across and get to the fine details. But you'll hear in the recording, I was struggling to even understand the lady I was speaking to, and it wasn't very helpful. But I eventually got through to a supervisor, which is the key in this. And when you see the video, you'll see what I had to do to kind of get my point across. But
yeah,
yeah, the
another
language
one.
barrier is a problem when
The
dealing
one
with
over
detail.
the one over here is based in the Philippines, I think. And oh my God, I've had some funny conversations with them. I do have some sympathy for them because they're just trying to do a job as well, But
Oh,
there shouldn't be a basic level of conversational English past. So,
yeah, absolutely. Hats off to them that they speak English, but
yeah,
they're reading off a list of if
yeah,
this
cheat
happens, do
sheet.
this and read this, and then
Yeah,
do this and read this.
yeah,
And there was no, but hold on, that doesn't relate. Hold on, this isn't helping, And
yeah,
then they're like, well, thank you, Mr. Hills. Yes, what you
yeah,
need to do is this. You told me that doesn't help.
yeah. It's like
And then I
completely
eventually
saying
just
no.
went, can I speak to someone else, please? So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then at
Um,
the end of it, they have a cheek to send you a survey on their performance. Do you get that where you get an email or a message to say, thank you for contacting customer support?
I may
What did I
well
do?
yeah, I haven't filled one in. Anyway, let's see what else other people are saying. There were some comments. ETYK85. Hi, Nick. I work in the car parts plastic molding industry. It should have markings on it. What type of material is it made of?
Yeah, I think they're in a triangle shape, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it should say on it like ABS or something. And
ABS, that's braking.
I think it's ABS. I could be wrong.
That doesn't say.
Yeah, it'd be on there somewhere. I think they legally have to put it on.
Housing PPTD 30. Is that anything? I don't know. I'm not sure. There's markings and numbers and letters all over the damn thing.
Yeah.
But
it does look like it's been forced or something, doesn't it? It's not.
Oh yeah.
That's not.
Well, it's had some incredible force to put the crack in it for sure.
What car was it off? Did you say it was off a Kia?
Hyundai.
Oh, why have I got Kia in my mind?
I can't remember the model. It was like a big people character. It's a fucking great thing, as you can see.
So basically, that guy's had to put his headlight on, but his old one back on, hasn't he? By the sound of it.
Well, that's his story, but that's weird. And on the video, the last video I put out about this, people were saying, why would he want it back on, assuming it's faulty? Hence, he's bought a £300 one. And people were saying that people that work in the industry and stuff were saying, but that gets chucked in the skip. Why was he keeping that in the first place? That all seemed weird, but I don't know.
I watched your live stream last Sunday when you chatted about it, and my thoughts on it was, this guy's got a car. He's perhaps, I mean, everyone can surmise, but this guy's got a car. Maybe he's wanting to sell it. He needs an MOT.
Yeah.
The headlight's faulty. Sees one on eBay for 300, gets the MOT, cracks yours, sends it back saying it's faulty, and it's only costing the cost of shipping. And he's got his MOT certificate, and he can just dodgily sell the car on it. It's saved himself $300. I was said dollars then, pounds. Sorry.
Who knows? Who knows? If this was premeditated or whatever, who knows?
Yeah.
But hopefully, because it's obviously damaged, and I can prove it wasn't, that I should be safe. But as you'll see when this video comes out, eBay do not make it easy. And we've had a similar case to this in the past. We had one a couple of years back, and there was a video about that where we had some shoes sent back to us. Exactly the same shoes, color, size, make, everything, but a completely different pair of shoes, to the point where they were moldy inside and very obviously worn. The soles were coming away and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had to fight that because I didn't want to refund the guy, and I was livid, more so than this one actually, because that was an obvious scam, the shoes one. So I fought that, and I had to jump through a few hoops. But what I had to do in that case was much simpler. I had to fill out a legal form basically saying, these are the facts as they are, and sign and
Yeah.
say this is a legal form. I understand that, and they made it very official, but it was quite easy. And once they had that, the case went through, and I didn't have to refund the guy.
Oh.
This time, it's different and ridiculous. I don't know whether that's because of the value,
Yeah.
whether they've changed the thing. But we were chatting to reselling Polly, Sam.
Sam, yeah.
She had one recently where she had to open, appeal, and hers was really quite simple and straightforward, and they ended it in her favor. So yeah, we'll see. We're waiting to hear back from eBay at the moment about the next step.
Yeah.
So
I mean, sometimes if the dollar or the pound amount isn't fantastic, it's sometimes worthwhile just saying, you know what, forget about it, move on. Shazad's mentioned this in the past many times on different streams. He said it's business. Don't take it personal. But in this case, £300, it's nothing to be sniffed at. I think you've got to fight this. You've got to. Something like a $5 DVD or something, you'd let it go.
I do on a regular basis.
Yeah, but not this. This is too much.
And I totally agree, because it doesn't take long if you get your head caught up in a refund or a case, or you spend much time doing it, and you'll see how much time I've had to spend doing this, traipsing around getting the police involved.
Yeah.
Even on a £300 item, I'm gonna, I've used up so much energy and time, and already. At this point it's principle now, but I totally agree that on a £5-10 item, you just refund it and move on. Yeah, absolutely. And a few people said on that live stream where we talked about it, I'll just refund Nick and get on with it. It's like, it's £300. I'm sorry, I'm not just refunding and moving on.
No,
especially when I know something fishy is going on, and I was right. Now we've had it back. This is not my problem. It should be his problem to take up with the garage. And I think that the guy in this, the buyer in this, could be completely innocent in all of this in one way.
Yeah.
It's the fitter and the garage who have messed up, and they're making it my problem.
Yeah.
They should be going, we've screwed up here, but they're not. They're saying, oh, faulty light. Yeah, get onto your supplier, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all too easy for him to pass the buck.
Right, I'm miles behind in the chat.
The username ETYK has said, yeah, that's the plastics code number you mentioned, and if you type that into Google, you'll be. Although I don't know what you'll find from Google. I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's neither here or there which plastic it is.
Yeah.
They've smashed it regardless somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pleasant Valley says total BS that eBay refunds so quickly.
Well,
apparently, I rang them up the moment that the refund went through. I rang up and I said, "Hold on, this whole case was on hold for X amount of days whilst we sort it out.
Yep.
Why have you refunded him?" And he said, it's just because that the case he opened has been closed. We're now appealing it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, so it is still ongoing."
It's all procedure, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a bit worrying at that point that that £300 has gone. I don't have it anymore. They've taken it. Now I've got to fight to get it back. He hasn't had to do anything. He's just sent back a faulty headlight and hasn't had to prove his side of anything as the buyer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was the frustrating part about that inverter thing I bought, was while PayPal take eBay out of it now because they washed their hands of it. PayPal put this money. It was almost suspended. It was like neither of us could gain access to it until they came with some resolution, and then obviously he got his money. And I can say, but having said that, I can see why PayPal awarded it in his favor. The paperwork stacked up.
Yeah.
Why would they not? It's up to me or my friend to then contest it. Well, I wasn't going through all that again. You can go and get his own account.
Exactly. And in a case like that, or in this case, all eBay have, because it's all remote, isn't it? And we're here with the item in the thick of it, speaking to a guy in San Francisco or in London or whatever on a computer. All they can go on is the black and white emails and facts and this, that, and the other. So it is understandable, but sometimes you wish there was just a big dollop of common sense applied.
Well,
at some point to it.
Someone commented earlier, but that's the thing, common sense. It isn't so common, is it?
No. Well, look out for the video because it's almost comical what's going on now.
Oh God. Dear.
Yeah, so Lee Allen's having a bit of a morning. I had someone buy something at 9:30 a.m. yesterday. Dispatched and went to the post office by 2 p.m. Great customer service. Messaged at 2:30 to cancel the order. Yeah, I've had that before. It's like, sorry, it's in the post. I did my best to get it to you quickly. You can't cancel it now.
Do you think some people try that on thinking, they get a notification that the tracking number has been uploaded, so they know it's in the system. Now I'll cancel, but the item will still come to me. And try and wangle a free item somehow. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I'm just
maybe.
Bronwyn sent me a group chat message yesterday. I don't know if it was an item she'd sold or whether she'd screenshot it from some Facebook group or something. But basically, this person had sold an item. I think they got to the stage of posting it, and then they got a message to say, "Hi, please cancel this order due to this coronavirus. I am not accepting parcels through the post." All this hand washing and things like that. So people are getting really freaked out about it. It's gone mental over here with people, buying, clearing the shelves out from supermarkets of things.
Well, speaking of which, have you had a message from eBay saying you're not allowed to hike the prices up on medical stuff to do with coronavirus?
I've got about 10,000 litres of Dettol to go on. No, go on.
You went all slow motion and laggy then. That was weird.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, we all had an official message from eBay saying, hand wash and stuff like that. You can't hike up the prices, basically.
Well, I know. From a sympathetic point of view, I understand. It's somebody capitalizing on something, but that is what the West is. It's capitalism, isn't it?
That is capitalism in a nutshell.
Yeah, and so eBay, in my opinion, can't turn around and come out with a statement like that. It's it defies, in my mind, most things eBay was set up about. I mean, is that not what an auction is? Trying to get the best price for your product. Well, it's just the same. It's supply and demand, and that's what capitalism works on.
Very true. That's exactly what an auction is. So, are they saying with hand wash, for example, that comes into this? Are they saying you can't put them on auction then because the market forces will force that above retail price?
Yeah.
So I can't remember the wording of it now actually, but have they outlawed auctioning anything to do with face masks or hand wash? I don't know what. I just remember seeing. I think George shared the email on a chat that I'm in.
We've not had. Well, I've not received that email over here yet. Don't know if there's anyone from Australia in the chat who's had that email. It'd be interesting to find out.
Let me just try and catch up in the chat. I'm miles behind. Thanks, Joan. Yeah, it's ongoing, so I don't know what the outcome is yet.
Fly buzzing around my head.
Oh, what's it?
Got it. No jokes. Someone's saying any listings containing the word virus, corona, or flu will be removed and your account suspended. That's Adam Watcher 1421. Yeah, they're just. I mean, I went on Google about an hour before we came on tonight, and there's a lady over here who set up a face mask business. Her and her father went to Tokyo a few years ago, and they saw people walking around with these face masks on, but they were pretty bland, pretty boring. And she thought, oh, could we jazz them up? So she made these creative designs and everything. And they can't keep up with the demand at the moment. I think since November, they've sold something like 650,000 face masks at $19.99 a throw.
What?
Yeah, cleared the stock out to the point where they're now being selective in which department stores, supermarkets, etc. they send their stock to, because of that very same thing you was just mentioning there. They don't want people going in, scooping the shelf up, and then putting it on eBay for a higher price. But again, it's supply and demand. If you want to live in some other different kind of go move South Korea or North Korea, whichever one it is. It's
it's an interesting one because it is this this crisis, this medical crisis. I can understand, but you can't kind of have one rule for one thing and then change the rules all of a sudden because this virus is going on. I mean, we've all seen it with at Christmas when the big in toy is a thing, and the likes of myself might go out and buy them up and sell them on, and you get outrage from people.
Yeah,
you're stopping little Jimmy having his present for Christmas. It's like, well,
there's always next year.
Yeah. But this is slightly different, and I kind of do understand it and agree with it in this case.
Yeah.
Because you want people to get the sanitizer or whatever it is at a reasonable price. I understand that, but eBay are on shaky grounds enforcing it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Funky UK there says, unfortunately, I find the Philippines call center seem more interested in bigging up your top-rated seller status and how valued you are than listening to your issues. Yeah, I think that's because they are literally reading off a script, and there's no backwards and forwards conversation-wise. But yeah, I was told how valued I was a few times. Edward there says, I've seen this quite a lot. Not all garages want to front the bill of their cock-ups. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on with this one.
Yeah.
Georgina hates the scripted chat they give you.
It is so blatantly obvious they're reading off a script, though. It's because every time you ring, you kind of get the same, format.
Yeah, that's why over here, if you manage to get through to the Irish one, it's like a breath of fresh air, because it's like, I am talking to a human being that understands the fine details of why this is going on or what the problem is. Because you feel, sadly, when you do talk to the Philippines, because there is that language barrier and they're reading from scripts, that you can't kind of take the conversation where you want it to go and get to the root of the problem. You just go round and round in circles.
Yeah, they will not deviate from that fixed path on their flow chart, will they?
Yeah. Right, I was trying to catch up in the chat. Let's see what's going on.
Sorry, I'm just reading that comment that the Jim Marlowe put on. I was that little Jimmy, Nick, and the Tamagotchi you kept for me Christmas '97 has scarred me for life.
97. I wasn't doing this in 97. I was working in Virgin selling thousands of the little things. I was talking about returns. I think I've mentioned this before. Those Tamagotchis were so cheap, the little tiny, what they were, little electronic pets. After Christmas, so it would have been like January 98, there was just a wave of return. Every day these kids would come in with these things saying it don't work, and we'd refund so many of them. I remember in the stockroom there was a heap of dead Tamagotchis waiting for somebody to sort them out and send them back to the suppliers. So many of them were just faulty,
I've had a return today, actually, for a pair of 3D glasses, of all things. They were brand new in the box, Sony. And I picked 3 pairs up from a garage sale, all sealed and $2 a piece. Anyway, this was the last pair to sell, and they all sold within the last 2 or 3 weeks, even though I've had them about 6 months. And yeah, I got a return on one. They're saying it's not charging. So they've opened. Obviously, they've had to take it out of the box and show me, etc., etc., on various photographs. And this is a first for me. When the return, I was just going to I refunded them straight away. I thought, I'm not bothered about it. It cost me $2 plus the shipping. Move on. But when I pressed refund the buyer, it allowed me to take a percentage of the refund amount off because it was a brand new item I'd shipped out, and I've never had that before. It's quite a new experience for me. So yeah, I went into eBay's guidelines, give a link, and I just deducted what they recommended. It basically covered my post, I think, for the outward journey. So I'm just waiting for the fallout from that tomorrow. You know, the messages. Why have you deducted? I think it was 15%. eBay said I could on this particular type of item. So
yeah, well, interestingly, and again, you'll see this when the video comes out. The lady I first spoke to in the Philippines said, because you have this seller protection, whatever, you have the option of only refunding up to 50% or whatever, if you like. And she kept saying, that's what I suggest you do. That's what and I said, well, hold on there. I don't want to refund anything.
No.
I said, let's talk about that sort of thing. And she just kept going around in circles saying, well, what I suggest you do here is, you know, you have the option of only, I'm like, no, you're not listening. I want to contest the whole damn thing. And you'll see that eventually we got past that blockage and I had to speak to somebody else. But yeah, that was an option in this case for me.
Well, was that an option before or after eBay's automatically refunded the full amount? Because you can't refund. If eBay's already refunded it, that option wouldn't be there, surely.
They hadn't processed the refund at that point.
Right.
And okay. I think that was an automated thing that just went through later. I don't know, or whether it was to do with the case somehow. I don't know. That's when I rang them up and I was like, "Oi, what's going on? Why is you know, why has the refund gone through?" And the guy in Ireland at that point said, "Don't worry, the case is still ongoing."
Yeah.
But it felt a bit weird that my money suddenly disappeared. Yeah. Anyway, Andrea says, considering the stressful returns, would you recommend reselling as a full-time job? Would I recommend it as a full-time job anyway? I would.
Hell no.
It's a difficult one because it doesn't suit everybody. It's not an easy option. And I mean, I don't find this particularly stressful. I've dealt with so many of these. I can deal with it on a kind of very factual basis. Worst case scenario, I've lost that money. The light itself didn't cost me much. So I can look at it in that, like you said, that last one, it only cost you a couple of dollars. That's the way you have to look at it. You move on, you know, it's only money. And I can detach myself from this. So I don't find it actually stressful. I find it frustrating that I'm having to put the time and effort in to sort this out. But would I recommend reselling as a full-time job? If you've tried it in the part-time and you enjoy it and you think you can hack it, then because the freedom that comes with it and everything, it's great. But
that's the one thing I do enjoy about this lifestyle of, you know, employment is it does give you a massive choice in the time during your day and how you spend it. And that's probably been my downfall in many occasions. But I would recommend it. But like you say, if you give it a try first as a part-time affair, because it's not just handling the stress of returns and things. There's a million other things, isn't there? You know, it's like, am I selling anything's the main thing.
I think the biggest stress, if we touch on that for a minute, and I've said this many times, is you don't have a salary. You don't have a
Yeah,
fixed salary, and you don't know from 1 month to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 year to the next what you
yeah.
might earn. Of course, that does mean your earnings can go up if things work out, but they can also come down,
Oh yes.
and that part of it, if you can't handle that roller coaster, don't get involved.
Yeah, don't even begin.
Yeah. um Edward there was chatting to Gimbal by the look of it, and says Nick should ask for the fitter's details and statement. Well, I thought this was
Yeah,
where it might go. I'd have to prove my end, and I'd get in a conversation with the buyer, and say, try and get to the root of what's happened. But they've not asked for any details on that side of anything. They've just sent me down this route of getting the police involved,
yeah.
which has become an utter farce, right? But yeah, I agree, and I think, finding out what actually happened and getting the
But
mechanic or the fitter involved would be great for the buyer's point of view as well, because I'm starting to think he's not necessarily at fault, like I said before.
yeah,
But at
probably
this,
an innocent.
I'm concerned about the £300.
Yeah,
But once we get that bit sorted out, maybe we can take the next step. But eBay are
perhaps
not
the
interested in that.
perhaps the statements etc. might come later from when the police, if the police do get involved. Because I mentioned to you like yesterday, or the day before, I don't think the police will get too involved. I think they'll just say it's a civil matter, move along,
Well, yeah, you
and
will
then
see.
it costs money. Can I ask what you paid for the shipping to post it out and then to return it? How much are you in it for shipping?
Outbound shipping was about tenner, maybe
£10 to ship that.
10 or 12. Yeah.
God, it cost a fortune over here. It's
No, I
like
did it
nearly the size
through.
of a coffin.
Yeah, it's not particularly heavy. I think I did it parcel force. It might have been 12, but it was certainly no more than that. And yeah, the return, I don't know what we were invoiced through eBay, because he did it through the eBay returns. I don't know what that's cost us, but if this all goes through as I think it should do now, we'll get that back anyway,
Yeah.
I think. Let's try and catch up. And try and catch up before we end the chat.
So other than your day, well, your day has only just started, hasn't it? Or are you going back to bed for an hour?
I'll try not to. I might have a nap at lunchtime.
I do. I must admit, I am partial to my nana naps. Yeah, my day was. I had an argument in the post office. It's not normally the post office I go in, but basically over here, when you put an item over the counter, they give you a lodgement receipt. Just to say, yeah, here's the tracking details, just proof of lodging. And I don't know if this is still true, because I was talking to Andrew today about it, and he's not come across this fact, but I've seen it on the eBay website maybe a year ago. In the event of any claim as a parcel not being delivered, eBay can actually ask you for this lodgement receipt as proof of actually posting it, even though the tracking number is on the postal system.
Right.
And this woman, this battle axe of a thing, wasn't for giving me the lodgement receipt, because she'd used a handheld scanner instead of the one linked to the main terminal. And yeah, long story short, I got in a bit of a heated argument with her, saying I tried to get all my parcels back off her, and she was claiming there was now effectively the property of the post office because they've been scammed. And I said, well, yeah. Anyway, it was resolved when this guy who I normally see when I go to that post office stepped in and just rescanned them. She was a horror of a thing. If it was a bloke, you'd have wanted to drag her over the counter, him over the counter. It was just being so just what's the word I'm looking for? Jobsworth.
Yeah.
Jobsworth.
Yeah.
But so that set me off on a bad tone for the rest of the afternoon.
It's
And
frustrating when a problem is easily resolvable, as the in your case, then the second guy comes on and goes, "Oh yeah, we just do this, and it's done," and you're out of the way, gone, and life carries on. But yeah, when somebody's just making something difficult, going back to the case I've got on going, that's exactly what's going on here. This shouldn't be complicated, but eBay, no common sense involved in this. And, but yeah. Anyway, I highlighted Mel's in. Hi, Mel. For those, I mean, we've got 200 people in. Go through and sub to Mel's channel mainly because it's a great channel and she's really good at what she does. But I'm going to be chatting with Mel soon on her channel. I think it's scheduled already. So if you want to catch that, please go over and sub to Mel.
I think that's next week, isn't it? Is it the 10th or something?
Yeah, I'm terrible at knowing what days I'm doing what, but yeah, it's all been arranged. Okay. Oh, Shazad's talking about the percent. If you look at the overall percentage of returns, it's between 3.5%. Just ignore it. And to an extent, as we were saying before, I do understand that and say, yeah, you just refund and move on or whatever. But sometimes, and I think particularly when you know you're in the right, and in a case like this, or like when I had those shoes back where you're blatantly being scammed, I think also, Shazad, we have to take a stand. Otherwise, already eBay has this culture of returns going on. And our return, we've been doing this since the late 90s. And it's exponential, the amount of returns we had. And recently, I've never had it so bad as this year with the amount of returns. And I think if we as sellers don't stand up to the obvious blatant scams, it's only going to get worse. So while I would agree, and as a business, you just have to, time is precious and you just have to deal with it and move on. But if everybody does that, the scammers will soon go, blimey, this is easy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and Amazon isn't helpful with that. They make it so easy to scam the hell out of sellers through Amazon that you can return for whatever reason you like, send something completely different back, and we have to fight like mad to.
Well, this is what earlier on George mentioned, the bloody fly again. I thought I'd killed it. George mentioned earlier.
Be a different one, Rod. There's more than one fly in Australia.
Well, they're both in here. Yeah, for a return for, was it 3 pairs of shoes, simply because they didn't fit. Now, is that right in the UK? Someone can just send something back, even it doesn't fit here, have it back. What recourse have you got with that? You could have, say it was a T-shirt, for example, and you had 6 different colours of this one size of T-shirt, and they bought all 6, and no, they don't fit, send them all back. Now, someone's just mentioned here, PayPal's still going to keep their share. All right, eBay will refund you the selling fee, but it's almost like people using it as a like some kind of testing facility. You know, I'll see what I like first. If I don't like it, I'll send them back. You know, it's like almost like a video rental store for everything.
And that's what I touched on before. The culture of returns and the culture of people expecting free returns and no quibble returns. I mean, the online clothing retail industry in the UK has set the precedent for that. But some of them were basically going bust. It was all news in the stories because they can't, you know, that's taking so much revenue out of their business, all the free returns, you know, so they pay to ship out these clothes. And then they come back the week after and they've paid to have them back. So they're now out the outward bound shipping, the return shipping, and not on the cost of the packaging and the cost of the labor, you know, and then they've got to somehow sort all of those returns out. Do they go back into stock? I'm not sure they will. They've been tried on or whatever, you know, but they're hemorrhaging money because of this. But the culture, the precedent has been set up now, and this is what customers expect.
Yeah.
And but going back to eBay, I think because obviously we get a fair number of clothes returns through Andrea's side of what we do.
Yeah.
And at least in that, the buyer pays the return, unless you've gone the route of free returns, which eBay is kind of trying to push on us now. We haven't gone that route.
No,
So at least you
I don't
don't
know
have
many who have.
Sorry?
I don't know many who have, to tell you the truth. Well, I know of one person who does seller returns, but I tried it once and got stung. I won't do it again. Andrea's just commented there. I'm not too sure what the what's the ASOS? Is that something peculiar to the UK? Is it some legislation or some?
ASOS is a clothing retailer online.
Oh, right, right. I've never heard of it. So, right, are they still going?
I'm not sure. There was one or two that were at least in trouble, if not going under. I don't really keep up with it. Andrew would know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was some legislation or something.
No.
I didn't realise it was a company.
Right. I've missed loads of chat. It's so difficult because we pick up on one bit and then we chat for 5 minutes and the whole thing's gone.
5 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry if we didn't pick up on your stuff. Oh, we've got Karen in and Zahir and Bronwyn. Oh wow, hello guys. Oh, I'm so far behind. They're talking about supply and demand and the stuff we were talking about half an hour ago where I am. Yes. Apparently, Joan says I still get ASOS emails, so presume they are still going. Okay. Either they were struggling, or it was another firm that did end up going under. I don't know. I remember it being in the news not long ago.
There's a guy commented there. I've seen his comment come up a few times. I think he's chasing a Now 64 cassette, if you have one, for his collection.
A cassette? I don't have any cassettes left.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, you may have seen the video. I had a few, and I might have one or two, but they're not now ones. But yeah, not the man to talk to about cassettes anymore. I've got rid of them all. But
cassettes are sold 2019, aren't they?
Yeah. ASOS returns go out on a pallet to be auctioned off. They don't get processed back into their stock. So that's what's killing them. You imagine, and I remember when I think it was when Joe, one of my sisters, got married, and they wanted the bridesmaids to have all the same dresses. So they were ordering up dresses for all the bridesmaids, and they weren't sure on how the sizings were going to be. So they'd order 3 or 4 for each bridesmaid. So let's say they ended up with 12 dresses coming from ASOS. And let's say they ordered 3 for each bridesmaid. 2 of them are going back. So by the time the company has paid the outbound on all of these parcels, and then the return on all of these parcels, and then according to that doesn't go back into stock, it's auctioned off. And you and I know that when stock is auctioned off, they get a fraction of what the retail.
Pennies.
So what they might have made on the 3 or 4 dresses that stay sold, they've lost all of that profit, I bet, on the returns. And this is the problem with the model, the free returns model. And if the stock isn't going back into your stock to be resold, you lose huge on that.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, that is it, as a business model.
Exactly. So there we go. Anyway, we could talk about this stuff all day, but unfortunately we have work to do as well. Apparently,
yes. I've got a bed to see in a bit. So
yes. Oh, I forget that it's whatever time it is there.
I could not believe at 1 o'clock this afternoon you were still up, and so that would be 3 o'clock in the morning, and tinkering around and sorting your stock out and doing stuff, and I'm like,
I wasn't being very productive.
I would be absolutely wrecked. So anyway, no.
Yeah, well, normally I'd still be snoozing at this point if I was up at 3 a.m. But I'm wide awake now, so I'm gonna see if I've had an email from eBay to see what on earth's going on and see if they have seen sense, because I'm trying to get them to see sense about something right now. I doubt very much that they will. Yeah, it's farcical. I can't wait to edit this video, and hopefully it'll be quite amusing, because if we can't laugh at this stuff, we would go nuts.
When do you when's the expected release date for this one? This video?
When I have some sort of conclusion, I think.
All right, it's not. I thought it was.
No, well, I may. Depends on how long this drags out, doesn't it? But I may have to do it in a series.
It would be very interesting to see at the end of it all, whatever the outcome, if the people you had on the show last year from eBay actually sit up and take any kind of notice from it.
Yeah. I think these videos are important to make, actually, going back to what Shazab was saying about I'll refund and move on. Yeah, that's one thing, but also making a stand for what's right and trying to continually evolve the process and make it work for us as well as the buyers. I think we all have to sometimes put the graft in and go through the mill with bashing your head against the process to continually help evolve that. And hopefully, like I said, I think it's important to make these videos when you have a real pain in the arse process going on and a return, because they do watch. And Hannah, who we used to make videos with, watches our channels and does take notice, and she has some inroads into adapting the procedure and stuff. So yeah, no doubt when this is over, I'll drop her a message and say, have you seen this video? If not, here's the link. And make sure that they see it.
It certainly make them aware of it.
Absolutely. So we'll wrap this one up. We've been going over the hour.
Yes,
but thanks for joining me, Rod. That was good.
No problemo.
And thanks, everyone. I'm aware we didn't touch on a lot of the questions and highlight. It's difficult to keep up with, but I do apologise. Yes, I'm talking about the headlight. There'll be a video coming soon about the farce that is what's going on with me right now,
and a complete mini series.
So yeah, thanks everyone for joining me. Thanks, Rod. We'll continue to do these as and when. We might start alternating between channels. So if you're not already subbed to Rod, I've put the link for that below. So everyone go over and sub now, and maybe the next Grumpy Old Men will be over on his channel.
Down under.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for having me on. Thank you very much.
No,
bye, everyone.
And I'll be on Mel's channel next week. So if you haven't already, drop a comment in now, Mel, and then people can whiz through and sub. Right. I might go and have a nap now. Is that dangerous?
Cup of cocoa and a little snooze.
Yes, that'll do. All right. Take care, mate.
Bye.